Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In Between. I am your host, Grace Kipasa here, season 3, and we are back with the best of the best. I always promise you guys that we're gonna make sure that we touch on so many subjects, and today particularly, the subject in which we're gonna talk about is something that I hold straight in my heart. It's something that amongst us Africans is considered a taboo, but I heard that it is killing a lot of women, and even men find themselves in this situation. But I am not here alone. I decided to bring someone who is an expert, not only in medicine, but she's a mother, she's a wife. She's also from the same country as I am, so she can also touch on this subject when it comes about our country. We're gonna talk about domestic violence. Yes, domestic violence. Something that has been ignored, it's been sabotaged, it's been minimized in our communities. It's been minimized amongst families, and people are dying from it. I have here with me Dr. Ndaya Muleba, who is a medical doctor for over 20 years, married with 5 children, and she specifies in what you call fetal medicine. Dr. Ndaya, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Did I say that right? Is it fetal medicine? Is that what you call it?
Actually,
or gynecologist? How do you call it?
It is actually maternal fetal medicine.
Maternal fetal medicine.
Yes.
So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I graduated medicine in 1999, and then I had to go and do my specialty in obstetrics and gynecology.
Yes.
But I didn't feel like it was enough for me because I liked the pregnancy part of obstetrics and gynecology. So I decided to pursue a maternal fetal medicine fellowship, which is mainly specializing in high-risk pregnancies.
High-risk pregnancies.
So I take care of pregnant women.
Okay.
Yes.
So I heard that they give high-risk pregnancy an age. Like once you reach a certain age, you're considered a high-risk pregnancy without even actually being a high-risk pregnancy. Is that true?
Well, yes, because typically you're above the age of 35.
Okay.
And again, it's individualized because some healthy women that are 35 or even 40 can carry children without any complications.
Okay.
And some women that are 20 years old may have a lot of medical complications that may impact how their pregnancy goes.
Okay.
So basically, overall in the general population, a woman that's over 35 may have a lot of risks that can make her pregnancies difficult, such as high blood pressure. They may have diabetes, for example, or they may be at higher risk of having babies with anomalies, and that's what I take care of mainly.
I see. Wow. So you've seen all the cases.
I have.
But today, Dr. Ndaya, we are here to discuss domestic violence, and this is something that actually happens spontaneously. I was sitting at home and I was hearing stories about things that is happening in my community that I wasn't aware of, especially à la communauté congolaise, how lots of women, and I'll say men too, because there's men who are also involved in domestic violence by women, but mostly we see this with women. And I wanted you to come and to speak not only as a medical doctor, a gynecologist, but also as a mother, also as a wife, also as a sister to many people. And I'm sure that you've seen all cases of all types of women, even abused women who came pregnant or not throughout their pregnancy. And I wanted someone who can sit here and kind of touch on the taboos that we don't discuss about. It's very saddening that this is happening, but when you hear domestic violence, what comes in your head?
Well, before I got married, I just thought that it was mainly, a husband physically hitting his wife. But now, as I've gone through my own married life, and then also just being exposed to a lot of pregnant women, and not just being a high-risk doctor, I call myself a holistic doctor. I don't feel like it's okay for you to just come into my office and then I just worry about your health, the pregnancy, the baby, and that's it. I try to get to know my patients. Sometimes there is a connection. So I have heard a lot of different stories. So when you hear of domestic violence, it just doesn't encompass the physical aspect. There's also an emotional aspect that is there as well. There may be a financial aspect. There may be some sort of controlling aspect. And it can encompass different aspects depending on what may be considered in the community or outside of our community some type of oppression.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So you named things that I didn't even consider. You said emotional aspects. You said financial aspects. You said controlling. We probably won't even have enough time to touch on each of them individually.
Right.
But one of the things I wanted us to talk about was the taboo. Dr. Muleba, there's a lot of women, young women, who are told, au milieu africain, congolais, it doesn't matter where they are, that it's okay, que ça arrive. Oh, il était fâché. Qu'est-ce que tu as fait? Those type of stuff. Do you feel as if our mothers or our aunts or our sister encourage us to accept abuse from our spouses?
So I would like to go back to, first of all, how we grew up.
Okay.
You and I are sort of from the same culture where we're sort of in between the African culture and then also the American culture.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So, but the bottom line, the same thing is that the definition of violence in the marriage, domestic violence, emotional abuse, is the intention.
Okay.
What is the intention of that person?
Okay.
If that person is there to make your life miserable, is that person there to punish you like a child?
Okay.
If that person is there to not allow you to sort of flourish in your marriage,
Yes.
then that is something that is negative.
Okay.
So our mothers may say, you brought it on yourself. C'est toi qui as causé cela. Or il était fâché. So you have to go back and say, well, first of all, what is the purpose of marriage? Is marriage some type of competition? Are you marrying somebody that is there to help you flourish in whatever aspects of your life? And as they say, when you're marrying, the woman was taken out of the rib in the Bible. So if you're taking out of the piece of a rib, then that person sort of is created to have the same value of you.
As you, correct.
Would you be emotionally abusive to yourself?
No.
Would you want to hit yourself? Wouldn't that be considered abnormal?
No.
Okay. So then that's the bottom line that I would say to our mothers that would say, oh, il faut supporter. No. There's a thing behind it. There's reasoning behind it. What is the intention of that person when he is either provoking his wife or physically hitting her? There must be something. And a lot of times those reasons are negative. They're not there to help. They're there to destroy that woman.
So, Dr. Ndaya, in the midst of this, tu l'as provoqué, qu'est-ce que tu as fait? There's also another extra top that people add on top of it. C'est qui est ne dit à personne. On n'expose pas son foyer. On parle pas à n'importe qui. Don't tell your mom. Don't tell your friend or your pastor, oh, it's okay. Le linge jette something sale, c'est règle en famille. I don't know, whatever it is that people say.
Le linge sale, c'est règle en famille.
Yeah, something like that. But it made it to where nous, en tant que de jeunes filles ici, aux États-Unis ou en Afrique, we were being abused in our marriages, but we were told not to speak. Because when you speak about it, tu exposes ton foyer. Where is the thin line entre exposer ton foyer and seeking for help when you're being abused, like you said, physically, emotionally, controlled, and mentally, and financially in your marriage? When does it become tu es en train d'exposer ton foyer or you're seeking help? How do we get out of that route?
Okay.
I mean, how?
It's a very difficult line to cross.
Okay.
In my personal opinion, if you start developing symptoms like fear.
Yes.
And je dois rentrer à la maison vite parce que si je ne rentre pas, il va être fâché.
Okay.
Or, si je ne fais pas comme ceci, il risque de me taper.
Yeah.
Or, il va me dire, je t'ai emmené aux États-Unis. Je vais garder tes papiers. Je vais appeler la police, on va te déporter.
Wow.
Those are certain things that are signs that this may be a marriage that needs help.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, our culture, we are taught most often than not, to just accept it because of the image. You have to be married, right? Bible says you have to be married.
You have to stay married.
You have to stay married.
Yes.
You have to accept certain things.
Yes.
Ça fait partie du mariage.
Right.
Well, let's start by the definition of marriage.
Yes.
What is marriage?
Yes.
L'homme quitte sa femme, sa famille, pardon, la femme quitte
sa famille,
et ensemble, ils seront un.
One. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There's that aspect.
Yes.
There's the aspect that marriage, c'est l'image de l'Église. It's you're sort of talking about the relationship that Jesus had with the church.
Yes.
Where in the relationship that Jesus had with the church was there beating, abuse, talking down, neglecting, controlling?
Mais Dr Ndaya, on va te dire que ce sont des trucs qui arrivent, c'est son caractère, il était fâché, peut-être you didn't please him, que ça arrive, people make mistakes. This is what they tell you whenever you bring that topic up. Quelqu'un va te dire qu'il n'est pas Dieu, il n'est pas Jésus.
Right.
So he makes mistakes. Même lui-même, l'homme ou bien la femme va dire à son mari ou bien à sa femme que I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. When does this mistake become habitual? I mean, like, how do you know that you are in an abusive relationship? Where is that thin line? And when do you seek for help?
You seek help when you feel, I would say, that there is a problem. The Bible doesn't say to hit. Okay?
Okay.
Because when I hit my child, I am disciplining him. My intention is to explain to him, you did wrong or you did this. So I may resort to a discipline action.
Okay.
And again, you're not hitting to hurt.
Okay.
You're not hitting to destroy.
Okay.
You may be chastising that child.
Okay.
But am I married to my child?
No.
I'm married to my partner.
Right.
I'm married to my helper.
Yeah.
I'm married to la belle petite fille que j'ai vue, qui m'a marqué quand j'étais dans une foule.
Ouais.
J'ai vu qu'elle était belle.
Yeah.
I'm married to someone else's child. And I promised her parents that I will bring joy. I will allow her to flourish.
Okay.
I will be there in her times of need. Yes, they say pour le meilleur et pour le pire. It may happen.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that it may not happen. But if it becomes a habit, if it becomes signs that I'm being overpowered emotionally, I'm having developed symptoms of stress. I can't sleep at night. I'm afraid all the time when I'm around him. I have to lie. I have to tell my parents that things are okay even though things are not okay. There is a problem. Unfortunately, in our community, like you said, we are not taught to bring up that problem up in the public eye or to seek help because marriage is considered sacred.
And private.
And private, yes.
Well, you say not taught, doctor, and we're going to take a quick break before we come back to this, but we're not even taught to understand the signs that you're in an abusive relationship.
Correct.
Because you mentioned things that are very important. I'm afraid. Je peux pas parler. I feel controlled. These are signs that you are in an abusive relationship. But some people consider these signs as if I have a jealous husband or have a jealous wife. But before
that it's a good thing.
That is a good thing. Il m'aime trop. He or she loves me too much. But before we can even, I mean, I know we would, I mean, it would take us days to go through this, but I just wanted to bring out an awareness to people out there. But before we take this quick break, I'm going to ask you a question. Are men also abused in their marriages?
Yes. You cannot say that it's just women. Yes, we are the weaker sex. Okay. But yes, there can be men that are also abused in their relationship.
We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to hear back from Dr. Muleba. She's going to tell us what are some of those signs where a man is also considered abused in a marriage, although mostly it's the weaker person, like you said, which is the woman who is considered mostly abused in our community. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
One Word TV, let your light shine.
And welcome back. We are still here with Dr. Muleba. We are talking about domestic violence. And I believe Dr. Muleba asked you a question that men are also considered abused in marriage as well.
Less often, but yes, it happens.
Less often, but yes, it does happen. And a lot of times, I guess, is because they're men. They can't really talk about it as much as women would. So
because the man is considered the dominant part or companion in a relationship, in a marriage.
Right.
So talking about it or being abused may be considered
a weakness.
A weakness, correct.
That is sad.
It is.
That is really sad. But in our community, Dr. Ndaya, there's a lot of young women who have entered into a marriage and they entered into an abusive marriage. Parce que nous sommes aux États-Unis, c'est facile que whenever your husband commence à te frapper, tu appelles la police because you don't know what's going on. And they arrest him or he goes to jail, to prison. Quand il ressort, he comes out of prison, people point fingers at you. On t'appelle une mauvaise femme parce que tu as appelé la police contre ton mari. On te critique. They insult you. They say you did not protect them. What if he would have been is the father of your kids? You know, all this kind of stuff. What do you do in this type of situation?
You have to also look at the context.
Okay.
I will say this. Us women in the Congolese community, or I would say the immigrant population, it takes a while for us to get to that level to either contact authorities.
Okay.
I would say the majority.
Okay.
The ones that are maybe born in the Congo and come to live here.
Okay.
It takes a while because we are in between both worlds.
Okay.
But nevertheless, it may take years of abuse or something that tipped over the edge for that woman to say, enough is enough. Maybe this is the wake-up call for my husband that we need to stop this perpetual cycle of abuse, and they may call. Now, in the community, it may be considered something taboo, negative.
Tu es une mauvaise femme.
Exactly. But then, what are some of the consequences of not calling?
Yeah.
Abuse, deformations, for example.
Oh, wow.
Killing, death.
Oh, wow.
I've heard stories where if the husband can't get a hold of you, he will go and kill the kids, for example.
Oh, wow.
We've seen that in our community, unfortunately.
Yes.
Or they may try to go and assault the wife and things like that.
Okay.
So the important thing is that if that call has been made, now you need to seek help. There needs to be some type of counseling that is important for the couple so that that pattern of abuse is stopped and that marriage can be restored.
Okay. Should it be restored, Dr. Ndaya? How do you, and this will go in the Christian ways because we're both Christian.
Right.
Et pour nous les chrétiens, le divorce n'est pas permis, selon la Bible. You cannot divorce, especially for the Congolese community. If you divorced, it's a curse. Non, non, balo li susu, et si o botaba na 5, o tik mobile na yo, all this kind of stuff. But if you're being abused, what do? Do you restore? Hope that he gets better? Do you divorce? Where do we, because people will patronize you. Nobody will even ask you what happened. Automatically there's judgment placed on a young woman who seeks for help, who talks about it, or calls the authority, or decides to divorce. What do?
You have to remove yourself from that situation.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, your life may be in danger.
Yes.
Your children's life may be in danger.
Yes.
As Christians, yes, divorce is not something that the Bible or that the Lord accepts.
Yes.
But then also there is forgiveness.
Yes.
There is reconciliation. Yes. There are steps to restore that marriage.
Yes.
If you find yourself in that situation, the most important thing is not only seek authorities, but also a council of people that can help you and your partner work out the problems, go through counseling, develop better relationships, better communication, and at the end, walk in the same direction towards a marriage that is exemplary, a marriage where there's peace, where the children can flourish, a marriage where you can flourish as a wife and he can flourish as a husband. So there's always that hope that it's not the end of the world. Yes. But the most important thing is, do not be afraid to talk about it. Yes. Do not be afraid to seek help. Yes. In our community, we don't seek help.
No, we don't.
Because we're afraid of, qu'est-ce que les gens vont dire? Okay.
Wow.
Well, it's different in other communities. Our African American sisters are more likely to seek help. Our Hispanic American sisters are more likely to seek help. Our immigrant population sometimes don't know where to go, unfortunately. So it is a very big problem in our community, but it's a problem that can be solved and it can be fixed if we know how to use the resources available to us.
But Africans, we don't like to use the resources. Nous, à part nos églises, which I don't know, il y a certaines églises, on a des gens bien placés that can give this type of advices. And besides family, they'll tell you, call a counselor to talk about these problems. Chez nous, les Africains, or especially les Congolese, oh no, you cannot call a psychologist. Is that who they are? I think they're psychologists
family counselors, therapists,
yeah, therapists,
social workers.
Yeah,
when we always screen for that, because one of the most vulnerable periods of domestic violence in a woman is when they're pregnant.
Oh wow!
So we have built-in screening modalities to ask women: are you in an abusive relationship? Are you fearing for your life? Has your husband hit you or things like that? Or your partner hit you? Yeah. So there is help out there. Yeah. You can go to a shelter. Yeah. You can call your doctor. You can call 911. Yeah. And that can trigger help in terms of domestic violence. Yes. The last thing you want is to be dead or to have a dead child.
Oh, wow. And this happens.
Unfortunately, it happens.
My God, it's daunting. Dr. Ndaya, it's daunting. How many cases have you seen like this? Maybe, I know you've seen it in the Hispanic, the American. Have you seen pregnant women come to you in your office who are Africans, who find themselves in these situations? Have they reached out to you?
Personally, no, I have not encountered, I would say, thank the Lord.
Okay.
But I have oftentimes encounter situations where the woman is tired. They'll say, I'm not getting the help. Okay. And usually if the husband is there, I explain to them, this is a critical period. Yeah. And again, the majority of women that come to me have high risk issues already. Okay. So it's an opportunity for me with that, I guess, sensitivity of the African culture to explain to the husband, listen, you love your wife. She's carrying your child. Yes. We don't have a lot of the help that we have, or the extended family that we have, like in Africa. Yeah. Be a help for her. Yeah. Help her in this aspect of the household, or this aspect, so that way she gets enough rest, because this child needs a mom that is not stressed, so that it can develop and grow and be able to be born optimally. Because stress can affect a woman. A woman that is under stress can deliver prematurely. Oh, wow. A woman under stress may have complications that escalate because they're in stress. Their diabetes may go out of whack. Their hypertension may go up, and things like that.
Oh, wow. Yes. I know we talked about, like I said, we're not going to be able to touch on a lot of this because there's just not enough time. But we talked about physical abuse, but there's also the emotional side, the emotional abuse, which this is the one that gets ignored a lot. And the verbal abuse. This is what that gets ignored a lot in our African communities. He might not be hitting on you, but he could be abusing you emotionally and verbally. And I consider it like the silent killer, because people think, oh, he just talks bad, or he just likes to yell, or he just likes to, but he's never hit me. Do that type of abuse, is it heavily in our community as well?
It exists as well. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, like an example, talking down to your wife. Yeah. Not allowing her to be able to even express her dreams, her desires. Yes. Does it just stop at, I'm getting married and I'm just popping kids? Yes. When you guys were dating, you may have had conversations where she told you what she wanted to be. help her be what she wanted to be. It will benefit the whole marriage. So that's an example of emotional abuse.
Mais Dr Ndaya, tu sais, you know what people en Afrique ils vont dire? Que oh non, nous ici, on aime se comporter comme des blancs. Or mindele, you know, that, you know, you could talk however you want to talk to your wife. That means that this happens a lot even in Africa, but people don't consider it. Because if we talk about it here today, they say it's because we're in the United States or because we're in America, right? But how do you understand, or what are two signs that you can give that are red flags that you talked about dreams, you talked about emotional abuse. What are a sign that you can talk about maybe when it's financial abuse? What are some things that can be considered like a financial abuse in a relationship?
Well, for example, and that I think is very common in our countries.
Yes.
Most of the women may not be working.
Yes.
They're at home.
Yes.
And they rely solely on their husband's income.
Yes.
And sometimes the husband may deprive their wife of even the basic necessities.
Yes.
But he goes out there and he has le dernier cri, griffe des chaussures, dernier costume, slim fit, Jean Courcelles. And then his wife is not even doesn't have the basic necessity.
Yes.
Because he doesn't have money to give to her. Or maybe the children don't have enough money to be able to even have a decent meal. That is financial abuse. Or maybe the husband doesn't even want his wife to go out to work. They got married, she was working, and then it's like, no, I want you to be at home. Well, I need also some type of income. No, I'm not going to give it to you. You're preventing that woman from flourishing. What was God's purpose for each individual? We are to glorify him, right?
Yes.
In everything that we do.
Yes.
So let's say God had intended me to be a physician, and I was in a marriage where my husband didn't want me to be a physician.
Yes.
Can you imagine all the opportunities in our community of women that will not be able to either be educated on high-risk pregnancies because I'm not allowed to practice because my husband doesn't want me to practice?
Wow.
There's a loss
in
the community.
A huge loss of talent, a huge loss of gifts, a huge loss. I just hate that we don't have enough time, Dr. Ndaya. I really wish that we can get deeper into this, but I wanted to take one last break. Whenever we come back, I wanted you to kind of express to everybody who's watching us how they can find help, who they can reach out to, what are the things that you recommend as a medical doctor, and what this could be when they don't seek for help. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We're still here with Dr. Muleba talking about domestic violence in our community, Congolese community, the diaspora, and the African community here. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are still here with Dr. Muleba talking about domestic violence. She highlighted some amazing points. What a conversation it is to have with you, Dr. Muleba.
Oh, thank you for having. I'm so humbled for you to have me here.
I don't know. I wish I need to work on setting up a platform to have you just to invite people just to come and hear. And if it can touch one person,
Amen,
that they can seek for help, because there's a lot of stuff people don't know. And my show is not even long enough for us to have you touch it. There's so many things to talk about. But I wanted to have this show so we can kind of throw a message out there for a cry of help if anybody needs help. What are some things that you may tell this young woman who's newly married, who doesn't understand if this is abuse yet or if this is not abuse? A mother who's been in marriage for 50 years, who thinks this is normal because ça arrive, this is what they were taught. Or someone like me who's on my way to become a wife or gonna be married. What should I expect? What boundaries should I set? What can you tell these young women out there? And secondly, what would you tell these men who is about to enter the marriage, who's already in the marriage, or who's been in the marriage, how to probably stop or realize that they need help. What are some advice that you can give to us about this thing called domestic violence?
Okay. I would say the advice that I would give, first of all, is for the woman, you are not an object. You are a person. You have feelings. Yes. You have dreams. You have goals. And when you enter the marriage, you had goals. Yes. So for the ones that are already married, there may be hiccups in life, but the most important thing is to be able to always demonstrate love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not hit. Love does not oppress. Love does not control. Love is a giving type of emotion. Let's use Jesus Christ as an example. He gave his life willingly. In the Bible, it says for the husband, tu dois mourir for your wife, essentially. So I would say that. Now, if you find yourself in this abusive relationship, there's always ways to seek help. Yes, you can call 911. You don't have to call 911. You can just go to the police station and say, I need help in terms of finding a service that can help me because I'm having problems in my marriage. And they can direct you to social services where you can either talk to a counselor or they can give you numbers of therapists or counselors. You can also talk with your physicians or the pediatricians for numbers or referrals for services that can help you. Now, for our older women, yes, it's a culture that we grew up in. It's something that's considered normal. Tout le monde le fait. Yeah. But there's always an opportunity also to continue growing in the marriage to where that marriage becomes a model or an example to people around. So if as an older woman you find yourself in that, communicate, seek counsel, talk to your pastor, talk to your maman pasteur, talk to your peers that could potentially direct you to the right people to help you in that situation. Wow. And remember, love is what it should be, the binding factor in a marriage. Yes. I will not hit myself. Yes. I will not destroy myself. Yes. So if you are mine, if you are faisons un, la chair, je ne ferai pas ça à moi-même.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. I feel as if somebody needs to hear this, and hopefully somebody out there will actually go and seek for help.
Amen.
And we need more of this, more of you in our community, in our families, in our churches that can talk to people that domestic violence is not okay. It is not love. Jealousy is not love. It is not okay. Wow, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully I will have you come back to definitely will have you come back.
Pleasure.
We need to have more of a discussion into this to see how people can get out of whatever turmoil they find themselves in this type of situation. Thank you so much for being in our show.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you guys for watching us. We were discussing domestic violence in our communities, here in Congolese communities, in African communities, things that are just painful to talk about. And listen, you heard the doctor. If you are going through this situation, it is okay to seek help. Life is only given once, and you only have one life to live. It's not worth it. Being dead is not worth a marriage. People will always talk. People will always have something to say. Save yourself, save your children. And for all the men out there, it's not okay to put your hands on a woman. And if you feel as if you need help, seek for help yourself. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys back again. We are here at season 3 at In Between. I told you guys that we are always going to bring you topics that matters in society. I love you guys. May God bless you. Until next time on In Between.